One of our greatest gifts is our diversity within our communities and in the world which we live in.
Respecting what each other has to offer, what each institution or business has to offer, how we are all valued.
And the importance of inclusion and equity is our challenge for each and every one of us.
This series will focus on the opportunities we have, the challenges we may face, and contributions we can make.
Our next featured employer represents a different career cluster, business and marketing.
Their businesses are located throughout Colorado and numerous states this side of the Mississippi.
But there are more important human reasons FirstBank is our featured employer in this series.
Where do you work? Are you in this building or where?
No, I work in California.
And Big Smile Action. You got any plans for the weekend? Nothing too big. Going to the mountains. So go ahead.
What if a bank didn't fit the stereotype?
Okay, and then two in that.
What if a bank and the people that worked in it looked like you? What if this same bank believed in an inclusive world where everyone was treated with the same respect and was given a chance to thrive? What if they supported who you love, your values, and believed in empowering everyone? Where demographic diversity and diversity of thought are equally important for growth and innovation. When FirstBank launched its new tagline, Banking for Good, it wasn't just referring to doing right by customers and communities. It was referring to doing right by employees, ensuring that inclusion is an organization's most powerful asset. The company has created a culture, programs, and benefits that enable everyone, no matter their race, background, or beliefs, to succeed. What it found was that diversity, especially at the management level, enhances performance, drives more innovation, and results in higher customer satisfaction and job satisfaction than ever thought possible.
Such opportunities and support for the diversity of their employees and understanding inclusion is an organization's most powerful asset.
I really like their understanding of how diversity enhances performance, drives innovation, and results in higher job satisfaction than they ever thought possible.
Celebrate who we are. We have a lot to offer. Dr. Velia Rincon's videos are a great guide to finding the love of diversity first in yourself.
And then how it can take you successfully to your path of success.
Hello, student leaders. I am so excited to be with you today to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. My name is Dr. Velia Rincon, and I am the Managing Director of Teach for America in Pueblo, a local nonprofit, and a Chicano studies teacher. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge it is with our collective responsibility as an organization to disseminate knowledge about Native peoples and our organization's history with them. Consistent with Teach for America's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, we acknowledge the land on which we stand as Indigenous. The original inhabitants of this area that is now Colorado included the Apache, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Pueblo, the Shoshone, the Ute, and other native tribes whose territory sometimes extended into Colorado, including the Comanche, the Kiowa, the Navajo. There are 2 federally recognized native tribes in Colorado today, the Southern Ute Tribe and the Ute Mountain Tribe, among other indigenous peoples impacted by genocide, stolen land, and assimilation tactics. It is with that in mind that I want to begin my story with a Maya-inspired poem titled In La Quech, which in literal translation means I am you as you are me, or I am another you as you are another me. Tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Si te hago daño a ti, if I do harm to you, me hago daño a mí mismo. I do harm to myself. Si te amo y respeto, if I love and respect you, me amo y respeto yo. I love and respect myself. As a child of the Chicano movement, I was raised to know my own power. I am here today to remind you that you are powerful leaders. I want you to also know that this might be new for some of you, but not for others. I remember sitting where you are, but I also acknowledge it is not what you are going through right now in this world. You are much stronger than I ever was. You see, I'm the daughter of migrant field workers. Both of my parents were born in Chihuahua, Mexico. I was raised in rural communities throughout the Southwest, and we grew up poor, but rich in culture. My first language is Spanish, and my mom said I was born to fight for other people because I was the first New Year's baby in Guyman, Oklahoma. But because my parents were undocumented, could not claim the prizes. She was half right. I grew up angry because I didn't see myself in our books. The first book I read cover to cover was in high school. It was The House on Mango Street, and the first time I saw Spanish words in a novel at school, and kids with names that sounded like mine. I was mad that I didn't belong so much that I was voted my senior year as most likely to start the next LA riots. Not best eyes, or most likely to succeed. I was lucky to have had the people in my community believe in me, like the folks who invited you to be a part of my life today. You see, diversity, inclusiveness, and equity are a part of a long struggle for justice. I stand on the shoulders of giants who have come before me, that have sacrificed for us to have access and opportunity, just to even sit in a classroom together. At Teach for America, we define diversity as all the ways in which people differ: identities, perspectives, experiences, and the presence of difference within a given setting. So you may have heard that we're a melting pot. I like to think of it as a caldo, a soup. All the characteristics that make one individual or group distinct from another. It is what makes us unique. Even though I am a Chicana, I know I don't speak for all Chicanas. We each have our own lived experiences and layers of identity that make us who we are, our greatest strength, and makes us unlike anyone else. I had to learn growing up that I was not born to fit in. I was born to stand out. At Teach for America, we say inclusiveness and define it as welcoming, valuing, and leveraging all people in a given setting, thereby fostering a true sense of belonging. Inclusion is understanding ourselves in relation to others, enabling people to lead and succeed in self-determined and authentic ways. You see, I had to show up both as Harvard and Hood. or as what you would call a scholar, because you can't spell scholar without a chola at the center of it. And when I learned to love the skin I was in, so did the people around me. And if we have diversity and inclusiveness, then equity is the outcome. It was my armor in understanding and naming injustice like racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, and so on. At Teach for America, we define equity as the state and quality of being just and fair, structurally and systemically. Because we believe potential should not be measured by race or your zip code. You are leaders, and every day your words and actions speak to the world you help create. You matter. I will end today with a poem I wrote to my younger self. Dear Velia, I recently met the authors of Wise Latinas at a Teach for America Latinx Summit who compiled stories from the women who, despite their unique experiences, share threads with your story. Do not be embarrassed. Do not feel like you have to belong. You're not alone, Velia. The pride your parents tried to instill early was quickly challenged by explicit and implicit messages during your formative school years. However, let me remind you that the seeds planted will grow roots and your branches will be impressive. Be proud that your parents will never let the world make them forget who they are or where they come from. See, they chose preservation over assimilation. The world will not always appreciate diversity. Primary school memories are filled with pain, and your secondary school memories are scorched by anger. But you persist. You will be a first-generation college student. Velia, don't worry. You won't fit in on a university campus either. Cholas aren't supposed to graduate or go to college, right? You see, labels and statistics mixed with xenophobic mindsets of migrant field workers and their babies will try to define you and your place in this world and preset your limitations. But what the world forgets is that you have always been anchored to this land from its first indigenous footsteps. Do not forget those seeds grew roots, and so you will remember the early lessons of dignity and self-determination. You will know your history and your relationship to this land. So in 2000, you will be accepted to the Harvard Graduate School of Education. You will tell everyone you're Harvard's first chola, and no one will argue different. It's important that you represent. You will not forget everyone who sacrificed and opened doors to the opportunities you are afforded. See, you are the fruit of their labor. So no pressure, Velia. Don't worry about fitting in, Dr. Rincon. If you did, the status quo would never change. Those before you have prayed, struggled, and even died for a glimpse of equity. You will taste it, and that'll feed your passion to change the narrative for our children. Thank you for leading with diversity, equity, and inclusiveness by believing in each other and yourself.
Whoa, what a pathway Dr. Rincon took to reach her goals.
I may have not yet won the lotto, but I am rich in culture, all right.
And the way we differ makes us all a great melting pot because we all matter.
I think I might write a letter to my future self.
Big $1 million question for you. How do you develop who you are?
Not sure. But our next speaker models character development in many ways and shares why we must all exercise the great freedom in our country and vote.
Hi there. I want to talk to you a little bit today about why voting is so important. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it this year with the big presidential election that happened, but I want you to understand why it's critical for you to really be ready when you're 18 years old to be part of this process to help us really determine our democracy. The presidential race is always exciting, and it happens every 4 years. It gets a lot of attention, a lot of people talk about it, there's a lot of media, there's a lot of money spent to put those messages out there of picking a president. And it seems exciting, and it is exciting, and it's so very important when we're picking the leader of our country. But I want to tell you today that there's even more important elections that happen in other years as well. Every 4 years presidential races happen, but take a look at your local level as well. There's city council races, there's county commissioner races, there's state representative races, there's state senate races, there's even school board races that happen all the time. And why am I talking about this? Because those are the most important races. Those are the races that impact your life directly. When we talk about state representatives and state senators that are up for election, they're the ones who help determine the school funding that comes to your school directly for the programs that you need most, to pay the teachers in your schools, to make sure you have the right technology and equipment to educate yourselves. Your state elected officials are the ones who determine those budgets, not the President of the United States. That's so important. When we talk about our county commissioners and our city council members, the decisions they make every day impact the community you live in directly, not the President of the United States. Let's talk about school board races. These are people within our community who volunteer to run, who don't get paid, who come and help make decisions about your education directly. That's a pretty important role, and you deserve to have your voice heard in those elections. Voting is so important, and your vote matters. It may not seem like it on the big scale of a presidential election because so many people vote. Let me tell you about my friend Bo Ortiz. He's our county clerk and recorder. In his first primary race, he won by 2 votes. 2 votes. So don't tell me your vote doesn't matter. Any race locally can come down to razor-thin margins. And wouldn't it be a shame if you just decided to not put your input in? That's why it's important to really make sure that you are prepared and ready to vote for people who are going to represent you. Your vote is putting your support behind someone who's going to share your values and really do the work that you hope they do. But it's also important on the ballots to really read the ballot amendments and the ballot initiatives as well. You are voting on things that will directly impact your life. Read about them, educate yourself about them, ask questions. It's so very important. We live in a country where our voices matter, but those voices are only heard if you take the time to vote. And it's so easy to register to vote. When you're 18 years old, you can register online or even simply at the DMV. In Colorado, we make it even easier. Once you're 16 years old, you can go online and you can pre-register at 16. And what does that mean? If you pre-register to vote at age 16 on your 18th birthday, that will automatically transfer into an actual voter registration. You will be registered and you won't even have to think about it. We make it so easy for you in Colorado to make sure that you are registered to vote. There's really no excuse. We make it even easier for you to vote once you're registered. Colorado is one of the states that has, for a while now, actually mailed our ballots directly to us. We get them at home. We don't have to stand in those long lines you've seen on TV this year. We don't have to stress about whether or not it's safe for us to go to an area to vote. We get our ballots at home, and we can sit down and talk with friends and families and review the ballot and make sure we research it to make an educated vote done. And then we simply turn them in. We either return them in the mail or we drop them in a drop box. How much easier can it be? There's really no excuse for you to not vote once you're 18 years old. And I got to tell you, even before voting, there's really no excuse for you now at this age to start to understand what it is that people are voting on today and how it directly impacts your life. Your voice matters, whether it's voting when you're 18 or advocating for anything that is important to you even today. Get involved, and get involved sooner than later. It will change everything for you. You will be educated on the issues that are impacting your community, and you will help make your community a better place.
Have you ever thought about running for office?
I do now, so make sure you vote.
I love when we hear from other students who share their personal stories in life.
That's good, because you'll then really enjoy our next guest and her path to success.
I think it's important throughout your college journey to never forget your why. And my why through all of this was my family. My mom gave it all to come to the United States to provide a better life for me. My name is Adriana Gomez. I am a graduate of the University of Colorado, Denver, with a Bachelor of Arts in Public Health and a minor in Political Science. When I graduated high school, I chose to go to a university in Washington, D.C., and I kind of felt this pressure from people around me to go somewhere out of state and go seek other experiences. And I didn't realize that those experiences I was looking for were right here in the heart of Denver. Here at CSU Denver, in the classroom, my professors and the students just made me feel so comfortable that if I didn't agree with something or if I wanted to share my ideas, I felt comfortable enough to speak up and say what I wanted to say. I kind of was able to find my voice and use it everywhere. My favorite class was global health, because global health is my favorite area, but because of the professor. So my professor was born in Mexico and came to the United States. And she had such a wonderful, beautiful, thick Mexican accent that I felt like my mom was teaching me the class. She just gave me so much hope and made me believe in myself that I could one day be a professional like her. I thank her for fighting for her dreams to show me and other students that we can also fight for ours. It was such a surreal moment, thinking all the hard work, all the tears, all the nights where I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough and I wasn't trying hard enough, or maybe I just wouldn't be able to do it. And walking across that stage and seeing my family in the distance, it kind of just felt like everything I did, everything I worked for is paying off. Like, this is the moment that says you did it. Like, you were capable of doing it.
I love that she knew her first choice for college was not for her, and she found a place that was more her comfort zone.
I agree. They say different strokes for different folks, and that's okay.
Sharing a campus with 2 other colleges and meeting people from so many diverse backgrounds.
Located in downtown Denver, Metropolitan State University of Denver, or better known as MSU, offers so much to its students. Serving almost 12,000 students, MSU Denver provides each student a support system to success.
How do you imagine your college experience? 4 years in front of a whiteboard before you start your real life? Not me. I want a school in the heart of the city that is the heart of the city. I want a campus that looks like the real world and hustles like the real world, where I can learn with my hands, my head, and my heart. Where students take to the sky, flying circles around the competition, and finding direct paths right here on campus to space-related careers. Where entrepreneurs have license to innovate, to brew up new ideas in hospitality. I want a school where the only limits are what I can dream. Where classes lead to careers and opportunity, where cyber warriors train, tomorrow's teachers grow, poets, painters, and performers learn to feed their souls and their families. I want to study with professors that care more about me than their next book, who are leaders in their fields and industry icons, but whose greatest expertise is sharing that expertise with me. I want a university that sees me, knows me, that looks beyond my grades, my past, and sees what is possible.
In the middle of our busy state capital, and partnering with so many businesses nearby.
No wonder they are the only campus to offer a BI, Bachelor's in Innovation. Allow your creativity to design your path to success.
The University of Colorado has 4 campuses. MYLIFE's partnership with UCCS has been in existence almost a decade.
Stretching along the beautiful hills of Colorado Springs, the diversity of its administration staff, its faculty, and its students and programs make UCCS easily a featured university.
And U.S. News and World Report calls UCCS a top 10 public university in the West.
Hello and welcome to UCCS. My name is Seth. The University of Colorado, Colorado Springs has been my home for 2 years now. And through my time here, I've learned of the many resources that UCCS provides for student success. And I've personally experienced a college education that checks all my boxes. Here at UCCS, we have a student population that sits right around 12,000 students. This gives UCCS a small campus feel. But don't let our student population fool you. We have big campus opportunities. We have research opportunities for both underclassmen and students in graduate degree programs. UCCS has a plethora of internships and ways to get hands-on experience in the field of your interest. We are also the only university in the world that offers a BI, or Bachelor of Innovation, for some of our majors. Through an innovation core, students will work in groups with their peers and assist companies all across Colorado Springs with real-world issues. These teams get hands-on experience and get the benefit of adding some hefty accolades to their resume before they've even graduated. With an average class size of 25, UCCS students get the chance to know their professors and form career-long relationships. And professors truly care about their students. Take, for example, my friend Ronan. Ronan emailed his professor asking for help with a homework assignment due the next day. Since he worked late that night, his professor told him to call him after his shift was over. Ronan called after 12 midnight, and his professor was still happy to help him. Moral of the story? The instructors want to help you succeed. In addition, UCCS also provides numerous resources for students to excel academically, socially, and physically. We have 5 Excel Centers. Each of these centers are designed to give free tutoring and academic support to students in their classes. Communication, writing, math, science, and language. Each Excel Center is open and free to use for all students. The first-year experience office at UCCS hosts virtual workshops on study habits, note-taking skills, and how to set up an effective work environment for new students. The Mosaic office, the multicultural office for student access, inclusiveness, and community, helps you find your community and welcomes everyone. They house our multicultural clubs and serve as our LGBTQIA resource office. Interested in health and your well-being? Our Gallagly Recreation and Wellness Center is the place to be. With a pool, hot tub, exercise equipment, and a health office, which is our on-campus doctor's office, Gallagly offers everything you need for physical and mental wellness in one place. If you are looking to make some money while in college, as well as gain work experience, a job on campus is the answer. UCCS offers over 1,600 student jobs. You can work in groundskeeping, dining services, offices, and more. UCCS is also a growing campus. We have just finished construction on the brand new and state-of-the-art Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. And just in January of 2018, the spectacular home for our performing arts, the Ent Center, opened its doors and welcomed students to perform, watch, and experience the arts. Not everything is work while in college, though, especially at UCCS. Our Student Life Office works tirelessly to provide engaging, relaxing, and community-based activities and events. We have concerts on our West Lawn, spikeball tournaments, Halloween costume contests, home sporting events, poetry slams, improv nights, and bingo nights, and I'd be remiss not to mention all the trivia nights Student Life puts on for cash prizes. UCCS is my home and treats me like an individual, not another fish in the sea. One of my favorite things is the breathtaking views of the Colorado Rockies and Pikes Peak. Every morning as I drive or walk to my classes, I see those snow-capped peaks nestled neatly above the Garden of the Gods and Manitou Springs, a view you cannot get anywhere else in Colorado or the rest of the United States. I am so grateful to have picked a university that has and will continue to fuel my success.
This was one of my favorite college visits when we got to go in person. Such friendly students and staff. The dorm rooms are really nice and their cafeteria food is delicious.
If you want to check out the other CU campuses, remember, My Colorado Journey can assist you. Located in Fort Collins in northern Colorado and serving over 40,000, this university attracts students from throughout the world.
Although a really large campus and numerous competitive sports programs, they have it structured to provide smaller learning communities for many majors, even having designated dorms for engineering majors, for instance.
Hey y'all, thanks for joining me today. My name is David Ferree. I'm an admissions counselor here at Colorado State University, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm coming to you live from our campus oval, one of my favorite spots. It's a beautiful day in Fort Collins, not a cloud in the sky. We're going to be talking today a little bit about the city in which we're located in, the history of CSU, and some of my favorite traditions. So let's dive in. CSU is located in Fort Collins, Colorado. We have a population of about 165,000 people. Fort Collins isn't quite rural, but it's not quite Denver either. A lot of people describe Fort Collins as a college town, and there are some truth to that, right? We have over 600 restaurants in Fort Collins. We still have a drive-in movie theater. But a lot of people don't know about the industries located in Fort Collins. For example, HP, Hewlett-Packard, they have a campus here. OtterBox, the phone case company, they're headquartered here. So a lot of students are actually finding their forever career here in the northern Colorado area. Colorado State University is part of the land grant school tradition, a group of schools that was started with legislation called the Morrill Act. This act allocated federal land for the purpose of higher education, thus creating Colorado State University. But we didn't actually start as CSU. We started as Colorado Agricultural and Mechanical College, or Colorado A&M. So if you ever see some of our swag that has an A on it, that's because we used to be the Aggies. And fun trivia question, our original colors were pumpkin orange and alfalfa green. And later we became Colorado State University, home of the Rams. Now, one of the things that is in that land grant mission is access. We believe that every single person, it doesn't matter of your documentation status or your religious beliefs, you are welcomed on our campus, period. And how we maintain that is through our principles of community. And it's because of these principles of community that I can ask many students about what their favorite thing about CSU is, and they'll say, community. I can go up to any of the many people here on this oval and ask, hey, where do I find Moby? Where do I go for my RAM card? And I bet they wouldn't hesitate to help me. Because we have a belief on our campus called Rams Take Care of Rams, and it's something that I'm really proud of. Now, we have many students who make up our campus population. In 2018, we did a look at some of the hard figures, or the fast facts that I'm calling them. 69% of our students are from the state of Colorado, but all 50 states are represented in our 2019 class. I think in the 2019 class, we had 3 people from Rhode Island and 2 from West Virginia, a small but mighty delegation. One other fact that I'm really proud of is that almost a quarter of our student body is a first-generation college student. You would be a first-generation college student if you're the first in your family to go and get a bachelor's degree. Now, all of these students engage in many different collegiate traditions and have a lot of Ram pride. Sometimes they show that by coming to our sporting events. We have 16 Division I teams here on campus. Division I is the highest level in NCAA athletics, where we all go to cheer on the Rams. And if you're going to be joining us, you need to know about Cam the Ram. He's a real-life Ram. He is very soft. He'll actually come to many events. You can pet him. You can even take selfies with him. I have 15, I think. But another tradition that I really love is called Cans Around the Oval. It started with a student who wanted to address food insecurity in northern Colorado. So they collected canned goods just to see if they could line the length of this oval. However, it has evolved today to be one of the largest food drives for the Larimer County Food Bank, and it really shows our students' commitment to service. There are many reasons why I love CSU, but above all, it's because I believe that it takes a village, and CSU resembles that. I didn't just get challenged and supported by my faculty, I also found it in my campus employers. I found the same thing in my peers, who are all pushing us to think differently, think critically, and think about new ways to solve 21st century problems. It is why I am so proud to call myself an alumni of Colorado State University. So come connect with us. Go on online, admissions.colostate.edu. Reach out to a counselor, hear from our student leaders, our student ambassadors. We would love to see you in the green and gold. Thanks so much for joining us, and go Rams!
Another difficult choice to make on attending college. Colorado is so lucky to have such an outstanding selection of options for college.
Just remember what Joe Garcia said in a previous series. Every 3 of 4 job openings will need some type of training after high school, whether it's a 2-year, 4-year, certificate program, trade school, apprenticeship, or even the military.
Having this diverse selection seems there is something for everyone based on your own SMART goals. Remember, diversity is a gift and there is no one else in the world like you.
There are people from all different ethnic backgrounds, different perspectives, different genders, different experiences.
But the bottom line is we all have potential and you matter.
You are the author of your own story.